All right. So let's get started. Okay. On your seesaw, you have an activity that has been released to you. It is called Comparing Climates, Desert and Tropical Regions. And William has something that I am forgetting.
Are we going to do vocabulary?
We were going to do vocabulary, but the link is on the assignment. I'm going to let you guys watch it during independent work time because we are 23 minutes late getting to reading because we were so excited about our Black History Month project. Okay. So vocabulary is linked there. I'll let you guys watch that during your independent work time. But for now, I'm going to skip it so we can get to it. Okay. All right. So comparing climates, slide 1. Again, it's our listening to our goal and then vocabulary. I'm skipping vocabulary for now. Okay. Click on that add response so we can look at our success criteria on slide 1. All right. Our goals are to identify the major climate regions of the United States and explain their characteristics. Yesterday, you worked on the identify. You found them. You made noticings of how they looked. Today, we're going to explain characteristics. We're going to talk about temperature. We're going to talk about weather. We're going to talk about the plant life. We're going to look at those. Okay. You are going to be doing this by applying knowledge of text features to locate information and gain meaning from a text. So we're going to be using maps, illustrations, charts, and bold font in the formatting of nonfiction texts. Okay? All right. Slide 2 is a quick review of text features, okay, and how we can use them. Let's hear it from you guys. Name a text feature that you know how to use and tell us how it can help. William, name a text feature you know how to use.
Bold words.
Bold words. How do we use bold words?
They can give you more information.
Yes, they give you more of a meaning. So we can use bold words in connection with the glossary. Topography is a word. I don't know what it means. So I can go down here and read that topography is the features of an area of land like hills, rivers, and structures. Oh, I know what hills and rivers are, so I know what topography is. Great. Aiden G, what's a text feature you know how to use?
The text, I know 3 text features.
Tell me
I know the title because the title is the main idea.
Excellent. Oh, nope, and we're going to give other people a choice too. Awesome. Main idea. So when I read this, what causes different climates? Aiden has told us that the main idea is going to be about climates and what causes them. So it gives us that information. Wonderful. Camille, what's a text feature you know how to use?
Photographs.
Photographs. What do photographs do for us in nonfiction texts?
It tells us, it shows us what we're talking about.
Yeah. It can let us see so we don't just have to imagine or guess. We got proof right in front of our faces. Wonderful. Leah, tell me a text feature you know.
I'll do captions, but I know all of them.
All righty. What are captions?
Captions are, they tell you about what's the photograph above.
Yes. So captions and photographs are connected. They work together. Sometimes you might see a photograph and you're like, I've never seen that in my life. What is that? And the caption can tell you that, can give you more information. Wonderful. Oscar, you had your hand up. Tell me a text feature that you know how to use.
A text feature.
There's only one left, table of contents. Can you tell us how to use that?
So if you want to learn about something and you don't know that page's number, or you can just go to the table of contents and see it.
Wonderful. Table of contents breaks down that information onto page numbers. Remember, when we're reading a nonfiction text, you don't have to read it from front to back like you do a fiction story. Nonfiction is sectioned into pieces of information. So if I am writing a project on how to stop wildfires, I might only want to read this chapter of preventing wildfires. I don't need to know what causes different climates if I want to stop wildfires. So I can only read that section, and that tells me where to go. Wonderful, fantastic review. All right, here's what we are going to do together today. We're going to complete slides 4 through 9 together. We're going to read the text and study the text features on slides 4 through 8. We're going to complete the chart on slide 9, which describes the climate of the region. Okay, so take a moment and just click through slides 4 through 8. That's interesting. I'm seeing snow here and I'm seeing a hotter desert there. I wonder why those are together. Oh, look at that. Cactus, some sand. Ooh, a chameleon. Oh, look at this. It's showing me about the rainfall that's there, that infographic. Okay. Oh, a map. Look, this must be where we're talking about. Right here, this highlighted region. That must be what that is. 8. Well, look at that. I didn't know such a green tree could grow in the middle of a desert. I wonder how it gets water. And then slide 9. This is what you're going to do. So slide 9 is what we are going to complete together today. We are going to look at deserts. I figured that out. It's a desert. And we're going to figure out the year-round temperature. What is the temperature like? Precipitation has already been done for us. We'll talk about where we find that. It is very dry. And then we are also going to look at vegetation. What kind of plants are we going to find in the desert? Okay. Yes, Justin.
It's sometimes sunny and not all desert.
Good background knowledge, man. Excellent background knowledge will help us with that. There is a lot of sun in deserts, but we're going to find out something today about deserts. I'm curious if any of you knew. All right, with me, please. Remembering that we are looking for temperature, we are looking for precipitation, that's the amount of water, and we are looking for vegetation. We're going to start on slide 4, okay? Slide 4, let's get there together. All right. Oop, got a lag, hold on. There we go, awesome. All right. With me, go ahead and grab a highlighter, put it in your favorite color. We're going to look for information about the temperature, the precipitation, and the vegetation, and we're going to highlight it when we find it, okay? Different climate types. A climate is based on temperature, how much and when precipitation happens, and what grows in that area. So climate is based on the temperature, the waterfall, and the plants. That's how we define a climate, okay? Main climate types are desert, tropical, temperate, and polar. Desert climate, here's what we're reading about. Desert climates are dry. That's already been highlighted for us because on slide 9, we said it's dry, okay? That's where we found that piece of evidence. They get fewer than 10 inches of precipitation all year. I'm going to highlight that. Fewer than 10 inches of precipitation all year. We just had a snowstorm last week that gave us 3 to 4 inches of snow in one day. Deserts get less than 10 inches all year long. That's very dry. Okay. The air in a desert holds less moisture than in wetter climates. Desert air has less water. There is not enough water to contain the day's heat. That means nights are cold. The big change in temperature from day to night makes it hard to live in desert climates. So one of the reasons that temperature doesn't change where we live is because we have water in the air. We have moisture, humidity. In deserts, there's not water in the air, so there's not a thicker air to hold the temperature. So when the sun goes down, it's gone. Crazy. Let's look at this text box right here of a fact. This is a fact box. The driest spot outside of Antarctica is the Atacama Desert in northern Chile. A city there went without water for 400 years. That means in 400 years, it did not rain one single drop. That's a long time. So let's see, it's 2021. So that would mean 1621 in the 1600s was 400 years ago. That's crazy. Long time. Okay, very interesting. Let's keep going. Many deserts get very hot. Ooh, that's a temperature. Very hot. Let's highlight that. Oh my gosh. Some deserts can reach 122 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot. But not all deserts are hot. Really? Antarctica is a desert. Hold up. Antarctica, where there's polar bears, that's a desert.
You never knew that?
I need proof of this. I need proof of this. It is the coldest place on Earth. Wow, a desert can be cold. But it doesn't rain or snow much. Ah. Antarctica has the coldest, windiest, and driest climate in the world. Very interesting. Yes, William.
How does it snow in Antarctica, but there's snow all over the ground?
So there is actually ice all over the ground. So at some point, the ocean froze and it's just never melted. It's just been frozen. Very interesting, isn't it? Okay, so guess what? We just learned about temperature of a desert. We got hot, we got cold. Let's go to slide 9, please. Move to slide 9. Year-round temperature of a desert. We just learned there are 2. They are very hot or very cold. Deserts are very hot or very cold. 2 different types of desert. Both of them are deserts because they don't have a lot of waterfall precipitation, whether it's rain or snow or hail. Where it's very cold, they don't have any. Where it's very hot, they don't have any. Okay. Also, vegetation. There are not a lot of plants inside of deserts because there's not water to help them survive. In Antarctica, we saw in that photo, it was just a bunch of ice, no plants. In the deserts, we'll see a few cactus, but there's not a lot of plants. Okay? Very hot or very cold. Now, that can be confusing, so we're going to add a piece of information. Very hot or very cold, and that depends on the location. Temperature, and I see temperature right here, so I know how to spell it. Temperature depends on the location. Okay, so if I am in Antarctica, I can expect to be in a very cold desert. If I am in Arizona, I can expect to be in a very hot desert. But both are deserts because there's not a lot of rainfall, there's not a lot of plants, and the temperature is extreme. Remember, climates are defined by their temperature, their precipitation, and their vegetation. Okay? So temperature year-round, very hot or very cold, and temperature depends on the location. I'm going to move this text box about being very dry because we learned something about the precipitation that I think is worth writing. I think it's interesting. On slide 4, we learned that desert climates get fewer than 10 inches of rain all year. So I'm going to put that on that chart on slide 9. So they get less than 10 inches of water. Oh, and I need to put all year. Okay, that's just an interesting fact that is worth recording. So they have less than 10 inches of water all year. Terrence, your hand is up. Is that new or from earlier?
From earlier.
Gotcha. Sorry, I missed you.
It's fine.
So forgiving. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, so our precipitation, we have less than 10 inches of water all year long, okay? We have not yet read about vegetation. We know that vegetation means plant life. So as I continue to read, I'm going to try to find information about plant life, okay? I'm going to use text features and the text. Excuse me. All right. Let's go back to slide 4 because there was a text feature we didn't finish and it's right here. It's a definition, precipitation, and look, it goes with this bold word. Let's circle it. Precipitation, and if I don't know what that means, look at that. I can look right there. Precipitation is a noun, and it is water that falls to the earth as hail, mist, rain, sleet, or snow. So precipitation is just water that falls. That's a big old fancy word, but I know what it means. I know what water is, and I know how it falls to the ground. I know what precipitation is. Those are connected. Okay? Lovely. All right, we're looking for vegetation. Let's go to slide 5. Hey, that's hopeful. Look at this. What can we learn? I'm going to highlight it. There's a cactus. What is this? I don't know what that is. I guess I should use the caption. These are spines or stiff, prickly parts of a cactus. So if I were to zoom in on a cactus, that's what I would see. Spines. Okay. The sun burns brightly overhead. The air is hot and dry. A tall saguaro cactus grows nearby. Use your magnifying glass to inspect its spines. Oh, look at that. They did. They magnified and zoomed in. Well, guess what we just learned? We learned that cacti grow in deserts, and that is a plant. So now I'm going to go to slide 9, vegetation, and I'm going to add a text box. Well, good morning, Frank. I am glad you decided to join us. Vegetation here, we have a cactus. I saw a cactus. Now that is a very short, tiny answer. I bet I can find more information as we continue to look at the slides. So let's continue to go through and find it. We left off on slide 5. We read all of slide 5. We look at the photograph. We looked at the caption. Let's go to slide 6. Deserts are the driest places on Earth. Animals and plants have adapted, to live in the hot, dry conditions. They can survive with little water. That is important. And look at that text feature. You guys know what adapted means because we learned about animal adaptations earlier this year. But if you forgot, there is a box right here showing you that adapted means a change to survive.
Can you go back to slide 5?
1 second, please. So they have adapted. That's going to be important information about the vegetation, that they know how to survive with little water. So we're going to add that in. Okay. Let's take a look at slide 9 and let's add in what we just learned. We just learned that they can survive, the vegetation can survive with little water. Okay, that vegetation, that plant life can survive with very little water because deserts are the driest places on earth. Okay. Now, that slide that we just read on slide 6 had a photograph of an animal, but in the text, we learned about plants too. Okay, so when you are asked to focus on certain pages, make sure you don't just assume that your information isn't going to be there. Because if I had just looked at the photograph, I would have thought this is only going to be about a chameleon. In fact, in the text, it didn't talk about a chameleon at all. It just showed me a photograph of something that I might find in the desert. Okay, so text features work together with the text. When we're reading nonfiction, we can't only read the text or only read the text features. They work as a team. They partner up together to help you gain more understanding. Okay? All right, we are almost done. Give me 2 more minutes, kiddos, okay? You'll be 1 minute late off the Zoom. Not bad for being 23 minutes late from our first assignment of the day, huh? All right. So slide 6, we've read it, but we missed this infographic. This is just showing you a difference between the amount of water. It looks kind of like a bar graph. In a desert, you will get 300 millimeters or less of rain per year. Look at a rainforest. In a rainforest, you'll get 2,000 millimeters or more of rain per year. So that's just a little bar graph to show you the difference between the amount of water precipitation in a climate. Okay, let's take a look at slide 7. So we have completed chart 9. We found the temperature, we found precipitation, we found vegetation. Now we're just going to see if we can find anything extra. Okay. The Sahara is the biggest hot desert in the world. It stretches across Africa. It covers 3.6 million square miles or 9.3 million square kilometers. Farther south, the smaller Namib Desert has some of the world's tallest sand dunes. I don't know what dunes means, so I can look down here in the glossary. Dunes are hills of loose sand formed by the wind. Ah, so look, these are dunes. That kind of serves as a caption for this as well. That's sand that has been formed into hills. Interesting. So we did read about the temperature. It's hot, but we already wrote that. We didn't learn about any plants, and we didn't learn about any precipitation, so I don't have anything to add from this page. Let's go ahead and go to slide 8. Long roots. Ooh, roots. Those are on plants. I bet this is going to be important. Desert plants often have long root systems. Their roots may reach deep into the ground for water. Mesquite trees have the longest roots. They're tap roots. What's a tap root? Oh, our main downward growing roots, smaller roots grow off a taproot. Ah, so these big old thick parts are taproots. Okay. Can grow more than 100 feet. 100 feet is the same as a 10-story building. So if you were to go into a building and click on an elevator button and click on 10, that'd be about 100 feet. So you could put a skyscraper underneath the ground, and that would be as long as its roots. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. Taproots can grow more than 100 feet. Other desert plants have short root systems. Okay. That's important. So we just learned that they can have long root systems. It's the last thing that we're going to add. Let's add that on slide 9, and then we have finished up. So the other thing about the vegetation that we need to know is that they can have long, and I'm going to put long capitalized, root systems. And I'll have to move that text box so we can see it. They can have long root systems. Okay. Beautiful. So we have learned about the desert climate. We've studied its temperature, its precipitation or the water that falls, and we've studied its vegetation or the plant life that grows. Okay? You are going to do the same thing today with a different climate. Your independent work looks exactly the same. You have 4 pages of text to read. You have a chart to fill out. Okay? The section that you're going to read about independently today is tropical. Okay, so you're going to be reading about tropical climates. Slide 10 is where your independent work directions are. Let's look at them. Read the text and study the text features on slides 11 through 14. Complete the chart on slide 15 describing the climate of the region. Okay, so you're going to read about tropical climates. You're going to look at the text features about tropical climates, and you're going to complete the chart. Okay? As always, when you are done, you're going to reflect on your performance. How do you feel you did applying knowledge of text features to locate information and gain meaning from a text? Okay, did you feel you were successful with text features or you needed more practice? All right, that is your independent work for today.